Well, hello, good people. Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Lou Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. I hope you guys are having a great weekend. At least we don't have to worry about the Cowboys losing tomorrow. We've lost plenty this week, and it's been crazy. Sitting down, watching a movie with my wife this evening. That's something we haven't done much of in a while because it seems like we're always really, really busy. My wife has turned into a plant freak in here. She's got all kinds of different plants, and I don't have a green thumb. Sometimes I have a brown thumb or a black thumb or white thumb because I got paint and dirt and everything else on it. So I got different thumbs, but I ain't got a green thumb. But I'm learning about different plants and things, because I always look at it, see a brown leaf and think, oh, it needs some water. It's dried out. It needs some more water. And it turns out it's got a brown leaf because it's drowning in the roots because it got too much water. And you keep putting more water on it and the damn thing gets worse and worse and you don't understand. Or you go through and you repot that plant because you think, man, the roots are in here real tight. Let's get a big flower pot so you got plenty of space to spread out. Then you find out the roots need to be crowded. And it's not enough to go ahead and just say, I'm going to get some Miracle Grow plant, Miracle Grow potting soil, put it in there. Well, there's different kinds for different plants because like the Monsteros, you need to put in like worm casings, I think it is, or something like that. So I think it's that worm shit. You got to put perlite, which is kind of like rocks. And then you got to put coconut husk in it and everything else. And charcoal. So that way it drains out real well so the roots don't rot and get fungus and this stuff. Yeah, so, here it is. It's my wife's thing that's become my thing, if you know what I mean, fellas, you know what I mean. And I tell you something else that's funny, too. This is actually really, really funny. On Instagram, I guess because I'm a married man and I see all these things that are jokes between the wife and the husband. And you'll see ones where like the guy's sitting on the couch and stuff like that, and she's sitting there, she's stewing because it's like he's relaxing, he needs to be doing something, or she'll say like, can you do something? You're like, yeah, in a minute, and then she get mad because he didn't do it instantaneously. I swear, I sat down on that couch over there today, and my wife was downstairs, and she's like, hey, I need you to do such and such, and I was just like, wow, okay. Maybe that was a coincidence. Did that thing for him and came back down and sat down on the couch again. And don't you know, as soon as my butt hit the seat, I'm wondering if she got sensors on the couch. So when I touch the cushions, that automatically, bzz, oh, he's sitting down. It's time to lean, it's time to clean. That's what they used to say when I used to work at McDonald's. But she knows instantly that I got something for you to do. It's like, damn. Anyway, I've been thinking about where Brian Broaddus was saying that Jerry Jones didn't want to sign Dak. And I get all this stuff for people that just say the Cowboys' problems are all Dak Prescott and this, that, and the other things. And I started thinking, because as I was going through, I started thinking about all the contracts, all the big contracts that the Cowboys have done. You know how many of them that you actually look at when the Cowboys have signed a big contract that it's actually worked out well for them and they didn't take like a big loss? In my mind, when the Cowboys signed Tyron Smith to his $92 million contract, that was a good contract. Tyron Smith was good for us for a lot of years. Dak Prescott is the only one, and if I'm wrong, let me know who I'm missing. But Dak Prescott, I think, is the only big contract that the Cowboys have signed that somebody's actually made it through the whole contract. Dez didn't. Tony Romo didn't. DeMarcus Ware didn't. All those guys were out, and we had dead money from them. Jalen Smith didn't. DeMarcus Lawrence, I guess you could say DeMarcus Lawrence. Actually, okay, I'm wrong. DeMarcus Lawrence is the second one that you look and say, he's still on his contract. And if he makes it through this year, okay. So it's Dak, D-Law, and Tyron Smith. It seems like every other big contract that they've done hasn't worked out. You think about Michael Gallup. That was money thrown away. At the moment, you got to look at the $82 million extension that they put in for Terrence Steele. You have to say that was a waste. You got to look at Zeke Elliott's contract, where they had let him go. That was a big dead money hit. I guess Zach Martin's another one we put on there. Zach Martin. So there's a couple. But for the most part, it seems like the Cowboys' philosophy, because this is where I'm going to twist it up a little bit here. Forgive me, I got a sinus issue. The Cowboys' idea of saying, we believe in our own guys, right? And bottom tier free agent signings. Now, we traded with the Giants, a 6th for a 7th or something like that, for Jordan Phillips, who was aging, right? You know, when Calais Campbell left the Arizona Cardinals, I literally said, that's the kind of guy to get. And people told me, he's a 7-8 sack guy, man. You know, he's old. He's too expensive. And the next year he had 14 and a half sacks. 14 and runner-up MVP. And is still today playing well. He's there in Miami right now. In Miami, where he's cap number is $2 million. He's signed a 1-year deal to be with the Miami Dolphins. He has 8 solo tackles, 2 sacks, and some pressures. I can't remember how many pressures it is. But for $2 million, and he's an NFL Man of the Year. See, that's the kind of move that the Cowboys say, years ago, and even right now, you could look at it and said, if the Cowboys brought Calais Campbell in there, who could have, basically he said, I'll play anywhere on the line you need me to, from edge rusher to interior defensive line. Who could have worked with a guy like Mozzie and would have instantly been your best defensive lineman. And instead of doing that before training camp and actually being a player and getting a great guy that would have only been $2 million, they wait until after training camp and bring in guys that were never anywhere close to that stature. That probably cost you just as much. I believe when I had Demario Davis at my house, eating some gumbo that I made, I did an interview with Demario, and he was leaving the Jets. And I remember texting Brian Broaddus and saying, bro, this is the guy we need, man. If you got any pull and all that, tell him this is the guy. And he's like, man, they don't listen to me. You know what's crazy? After, we had Jalen Smith at that time. We drafted Leighton Van Der Esch, and, we've had the Anthony Bars, and, different guys and things in there. Do you know that Demario Davis had been the heart and soul of that linebacking core in that defense in New Orleans? And he has not missed a single game since he went to New Orleans. And I know you're saying, well, why are you saying all this? Well, here's the thing about free agents, typically. Free agents cost a bit of money. They do. They cost quite a bit of money, right? But typically, you're tied in for like 1 or 2 years. The Cowboys, instead of signing Zeke Elliott to a $90 million contract, might have been better suited not signing to that extension and letting him go and taking that money and actually using it on a free agent. Because I ask you, after we spent $82 million to pay for Terrence Steele coming off an ACL, maybe it would have been better for the Cowboys to have gotten a veteran right tackle with the money that you're going to pay Terrence Steele. You see what I'm saying? You see where I'm going here? Because, Ryan Brodus and others are saying basically, Terrence Steele will probably be a June 1st cut next year. That we're going to take dead money. We're going to take about $15 million in dead money for Terrence Steele not to be here. The Cowboys probably, instead of signing a $52 million deal with Michael Gallup coming off an ACL, you can't say that we got any value out of it because he literally was under 900 yards for the 2 years he was here. And I believe it's $4 million dead money hit this year and it's $8 million next year. And he'll have gotten $32 million. It might have been better to have signed one of the top wide receivers and brought him in with a guy that was proven as a free agent than signing him. You see what I'm saying? This is where I look at the roadway that's littered with all of these guys that we believe in, that we keep re-signing to these big contracts. And here's the thing. We typically hold on to players too long. See, one thing that New England used to do was they had no problem turning over the roster and bringing in new people. They had no problem trading people to get more value back. When you think about New England winning the Super Bowl and then having 12 picks the next year, that's how you do it. And so for the Cowboys, and I think part of it is a fear of the unknown. They're afraid that they're going to let somebody go and they're going to play great elsewhere. Or they figure, we can't live without that guy. That's why you bring back Zeke. But the reality is sometimes you're better off letting them go, getting the compensation, and instead of spending all that money on a guy who might be injured, spending that money on somebody who's proven ready to play right now, that's experienced. And here's where the Joneses have to start looking at things differently. I know you believe in trying to win the way you believe it is. But bro, 29 years of doing it that way hasn't done jack. It hasn't done jack. So at this point, you have to, if you're going to be the ones here trying to fix this stuff or rebuild or reload or whatever it is, you got to find a different path than what you're doing right now because it ain't working. It ain't working. And that's the thing that's hard right now being a Cowboy fan. I've come to the conclusion that, don't expect anything. As, I'm trying to remember who it was. It used to be on Sports Talk 980. I think it was the coach. Maybe it wasn't. I can't remember who it was. But what he said was, expectations are the building blocks of resentment. When people are expecting you to do something and you don't live up to it, then they're disappointed. If you're not expecting it and it happens, man, you're a hero. And that's what we have to be as Cowboy fans. Don't expect us to do anything. Don't put expectations of we got Super Bowl dreams Ain't nothing about the Cowboys the last 29 years that says anything about getting to a Super Bowl. Kick back, relax, take it one game at a time. And if we win, enjoy it. If we don't, well, we didn't lose anything. It's sad that that's how it's become, but that's exactly how it's become. So, tomorrow we'll be here live, starting about 12:45. We'll be watching the Eagles versus the Giants, the Philly meltdown, I hope. And then we'll see the Commanders against the Carolina Panthers. And then, of course, we'll see the 49ers against Kansas City. And I hope you guys will hang along with us. In the meantime, remember, good people, tell the people you love how much you love them. Because you might not get the chance again, and I love you guys. God willing, I'll see you all tomorrow. Peace.